Hi everyone, welcome to episode 47 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am Sadie, I will be your host, and that is Frank running around in the background. You can find me on Ravelry as Blue Ruin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Sadie Ruin, and of course the Ravelry group for this particular podcast is called Yarnivore. You should come over and join and take part in all the craziness that goes on down there. For anything to do with the shop, that is the Knitter's Nightmare yarn group on Ravelry, and it's knittersnightmare.com. Since people have asked, and I am apparently really bad at providing information. So you may notice this is a couple days late, a couple bucks short. There was a giant storm warning. Oregon got smashed. There were a couple of tornadoes, thanks to Typhoon Songda, coming inland. And while we did lose power several times, and they were predicting catastrophic events, and I prepped like a doomsday prepper, it didn't come to pass. It was just a really nasty bout of weather. Lots of wind, lots of rain. Like I said, the power went out for a couple of hours here. Some of my friends who are further down the peninsula had no problems. It just so happens that being next to a state park and living rurally, trees happen a lot more often here than they do in the city. So, yeah, that was why there was no podcast on Friday. The power was flicking something horrible, which of course made Bebop mad because every time the power goes off and on, everything beeps. And in spite of trying to figure out what it is that beeps so I can just turn it off, I couldn't find it. So every time the power flickered, stuff would beep, and he would go off. So Friday was not happening. Saturday was supposed to be a lull. It wasn't really a lull. Sunday, I gave up. And Monday and yesterday were kind of like the worst days for me. Yesterday was a day I would have rather have written off earlier in the day, that's for sure. But today is going to be a great day, and I'm here, and I'm podcasting. And I think I'm going to change the schedule of podcasting on Fridays now to podcasting on Wednesdays. I had always planned to move the podcast further into the week, because Fridays really, they interacted with things. So now that I have, screwed up enough that I can just say, well, let's just podcast on Wednesdays. We'll start podcasting Wednesdays now, because today is Wednesday, and next week I will podcast on a Wednesday, and thusly there will be some form of continuity. And now that I've talked for 3 minutes with absolutely no content, let's get the show on the road. I am wearing my finished object. I will stand up for you. Here it is. See, look at how gorgeously roomy this is. I love it. I'm going to push my chair back a bit. So here's the side view. Here's the back. And all the way around. And okay, that's what you get. Also, I just had a shower. So my hair is kind of still damp because I'm too lazy to dig out my hairdryer yet. And once I do, then it's a sign of winter, and I'm not ready for that either. So yeah, and then this little, see, it's 6 inches unstretched. What they don't tell you is you should probably stretch the bajiminy out of it if you want it to be longer than that, but that is a perfect length for me. And I kind of smush them up so I get extra roll. Super comfy. Not even gonna lie to you, I've been wearing this almost all weekend. When I go out, and then I pull it off and I put something else on. Or when I'm just sitting on the couch, but if I'm gonna eat, I change because I don't want, spillage. But this is the True Friend sweater by Vera Valimaki. First sweater I've knit in a while. Usually I do cardigans because I like to be able to take them off and put them on, but this is the perfect weight for me. Maybe I just need to do fingering weight sweaters more often. I don't even care if it makes me look massive. It's so comfy and so cute. I didn't do it on the call for needle size. I think I went down one. I did do the called for needle size. It's like a 3.5, 3.75, or a 4 millimeter. I used the called for needle. These are The purple is I Am No Bird by Knitter's Nightmare Baddie Sock. And the white with speckles is Madeline Tosh Euro Sock in the Murakami colorway. I did the 51-inch size. I'm not sure which size that is in terms of like large, extra large, whatever. It was the one that was 51 inches because I wanted it to be huge. I have a 40. Right now it's 47. Sometimes it's 46. If I'm really thin, it's 44. It all depends. My bust size changes like the wind blows. But the last measurement I took was a 47. So I'm going to go with that. And I wanted extra room. Because even if I get skinny, I want a huge box. I don't know why I would get skinny. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? You know. But I really wanted the drape that I saw. So I did the 51 inch. I didn't go down for the ribbing because I don't like tight ribbing. I left the ribbing as the same. I did twisted ribbing. I did the surprisingly stretchy bind off. So yeah, I did not go down a needle size for the ribbing. I did not want it to pull in. If you want it to pull in, go down the needle size. It took 2.5 skeins of the purple and 1 and a bit of the white. I should have enough of the white to do something, be it knit a pair of socks or shorter socks. Like I wouldn't do the full 7.5 inch leg, but or I'm thinking maybe a hat. I need some tams or some berets. I don't do a lot of like beanies because they make me look like a boy because I don't have that much hair, but I do look really good in a beret. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know the beret, it's my jam. The beret, it looks good. It's feminine enough. So maybe I need some more berets because I'm short on them. I don't know what happened. And so this is my major FO. And this was a lot of work to get done. And ironically enough, on Thursday I had written up all of my show notes and they're now a little behind. So we're just gonna wing it. How's that sound? We're gonna wing. We're gonna wing into the whips. We're whip wing. Coffee. Coffee. Okay, so in this bag, which is the bird leg bags? Bird leg bags, right? Yes, bird leg bags. With the canine. I went to, what are they? The FRG, Family Readiness Group, whatever, meeting. And I finished a sock. This is the Gales Art Sock Blank. And this is the Brass Octopus colorway. Which, of course, makes me think of my wedding. So that's always a happy good thing, right? Happy good things are good. Knit on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. This is the Pebbles pattern by Mina Phillip. Phillip or Phillips? You can't really tell the texture in there. There's alternating pearl bumps. And I think that's just because this is naturally very nubbly. But in person you can see the texture. Maybe, no. Well, you can kind of see it. It kind of forms a little bit of rose here. And I love it. I love Gail's art. We all know that. Hi, Frank. Did you come to say hello? Meow. She's just like, dude, there's too much crap on this bed. Where am I supposed to Frank? Okay, so I finished the first one. And I kind of hesitate to show you this. I cast on the second one. I haven't even done the first row. I literally cast it on. And here's what the sock blank looks like prior to being knit. And that is where I am. I will probably have enough left over to be able to definitely add a square to my sock blanket which came back out of hibernation because it's the perfect weather to be knitting on. I did an extra long leg on this one because I knew I would have enough left over out of the sock blank. My foot is 9.5, a women's 9.5 wide. So that's approximately what this is. So one is done. This is pair 15 of 16 in 2016, or is it 16? In my project notes, I would have that written down. Meow. What's up, meow? She's just staring at me like, hey, please don't jump. Please, no jumping. Then, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this in pictures. This is the second, so I did the first garter squish blanket for my husband. It is off with him, keeping him warm. And during the knitting, Petrie, the oldest cat, decided, no, the blanket was actually hers. And she was deeply offended when it got taken away, especially because she gets so cold. So I started an apology blanket for Petrie. It's going to be nerfed. I have 6 skeins total I had 6 skeins, 7 left over from what I was doing from his blanket. It's the Patents Canadiana Tweed. I've got it in white and in this beige color. So I'm just going to keep going till I'm at the end, and then I'm going to bind off. And however big it is how big it is. And I'm actually going to, I decided this, because she's Petrie and she likes to burrow, I am going to do a 3 needle bind off so that one end is folded over so she can really, really get in there and get a good burrow on. However, do you know how hard it's been to work on this? Okay, I have that much done. That much. I work on it whenever I can get my hands on it, when I'm, on the couch and stuff. But Petrie will find it if I move it, and she will, like, plump. It doesn't matter where I am, she plumps. So if I put it next to me and I'm knitting on it and I set it down, she comes up and sleeps on top of it. And then during the storm, because I was like, oh, I might have to sleep on the couch because the wood stove, and like there's electric heating in each individual room here, and then there's the wood stove in the living room. So if it was going to be a power outage, I'd have to sleep in the living room to be near the wood stove to be warm. So I moved it to the other end of the couch so I could kind of curl up on the one end. Well, she followed it and poof, right on it. So I've set out a bag and a box as decoys to try and be able to finish this blanket. I don't know if it'll work. So far the bag has given me the best bang for my buck. So far. Right. I would like to finish that. I'd like to show you that next week and be like, look, I finished it. Or maybe I'll just tell you about it because Petrie won't leave it. That could ultimately happen. Now, don't have a picture of this, I don't think. No, I so do not. But I talked about it last week. You're just going to have to take my word for it. The wedding shawl has progressed. I put in my first lifeline. I was asked about a lifeline in the YouTube comments, so I will show you mine. So I finished chart A, I started chart B, and when I finished chart A, I put in a lifeline. It is this greenish colored sock yarn right here. And there it is. You can see it in the pattern. So I put the sock yarn on my sock needle. I ran it through all the stitches on the needle, like parallel to the cord. And I'm just going to leave it in there until I finish chart B. When I finish chart B and everything is going okay, I put in a new lifeline, same as this, and then I'm going to pull this one out. Some people leave their lifelines in until they're done in case they need to go back to a specific part. They can rip back as far as they need to. I usually only leave it in one lifeline back. This is the wedding shawl for my friend, my best friend, my soul blood sister, my rebel girl, Lily, who's getting married in February, so I better get a bust a move. I have started putting beads in. The beads have started. Where are those little buggers? There we go. There's some of the beads. And there's a little under 900 beads. This is the EOS Unique Sheep EOS in the Irish linen colorway, which is kind of like a dirty antique-ish white. Like I said, I finished chart A. This is the leaf wreath shawl. It's based on a nibbling. No idea what that means. Her theme is Secret Garden, so I found things that had to do with flowers and leaves and whatnot and sent them all to her, and this is the one she picked after we decided that the Even Star was going to eat her alive. I'm using these beads. There we go. They are 80 beads from Earth Fair, and they are the Antique Ivory Pearl Ceylon. Ceylon? So they are perfect. I have my little container of some of them that I use to pick them out when I need them. It's living in my Fat Squirrel fiber bag that is dark and gothic and I love. And I better bust a move on that. But it requires a certain amount of mental acuity and light that I didn't have lately. Moving onward, I have 2 more whips to show you because it's been a while and apparently I am just all about the whips. It's like being about the Benjamins, only all about the whips, baby. This is this a zigzag? I think this is a zigzag bags. Yes. Zigzag Stitches bag. Which is huge. Like there's 4 skeins of yarn in here. Let's not mince words. This thing is huge and it's got a pocket. I started the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, the current one. I am still only on Clue 1, Section 2. The second clue was released this week, but could I be bothered? No. No, I couldn't. Well, I could, but I was just, I like it. I just don't know yet. I've seen the pictures of how everybody's is going along, and I'm like, yes, I like that. But I'm worried that in the spirit of the doodler, he's going to do something I really friggin' love and then throw in an element at the end that I hate. Either way, because I don't like that border. I don't like that weird cable border. It's not my thing. So far, I am enjoying it. So, color A and B, which are the stripy portion there, are Knitter's Nightmare Giant base in the Supernova colorway. Malabriga sock in lettuce. This is Hedgehog Fibers, their sock in pomegranate. And then I have some Soft Like Kittens noodle sock in the Flap Doodle Jive colorway. That's number D. And so I love this color. I know I made it, but I freaking love it. I shouldn't love it so much. So I'm on section 2 of Clue 1. Clue 2's come out, so hopefully I catch up. I suck at mystery knit-alongs. I really do. Although I do love the way it's knitting up. I love the way the colors are playing together. It makes me happy. I just need to do it. I suppose the other thing is, and maybe it's just a problem I have. Do share with me if you have this problem. But since I have an iPad and an iPhone, not that I need to have an iPad and an iPhone, but these are things I have. I tend to use them for patterns. This becomes problematic if I'm watching podcasts on my iPad. I can't look at the pattern while I am doing it. And I don't want to print it off because I feel like that is, unless it's like a lace chart or something like that, those I print off religiously because I need the hard copies. I need to look at the lace charts. But if it's just a pattern where it's like knit 2 together, slip, slip, knit, fart up a tree, I can usually be okay with those just on my iPad and marking them off on the PDF expert. Now, when I'm watching podcasts, I can't knit off those patterns because I don't have them printed, etc., and I don't want to print them. So I have to wait until I'm watching something on TV. Now, technically, I probably could watch podcasts on the TV, but I'm such a Luddite sometimes. I really don't want to have to figure out YouTube on the Xbox. So I don't, is what I don't do. And subsequently, the things that require that I look at a pattern only get worked on when I'm watching things on TV, which is fine. There are things I do watch on television. Or if I'm watching a movie or something. But if I'm using my iPad to watch something, it doesn't get done. So, is that a thing? Am I the only one? Because I can't do the West Knits Mystery Knit Along and watch podcasts. There are certain things like the Garter Goodness or the Garter Squish. Those I can do while watching podcasts because, I mean, it takes me half an hour to do a row nowadays. So, I can watch something, or I can watch something for a while and then pause it and then go check it off and do the next thing. But should I just suck it up and start printing patterns? That seems so wasteful to me. I don't know. Now, something you haven't seen in a while, and I can bring the picture up on this one for you. The lace one I couldn't show you because I have it. I have that one printed out, and I didn't print all the pictures with the. I didn't print all the pictures with it because that would be wasteful. I have no pictures for the Mystery Knit Along. That's, it's a mystery. The other thing I've been working on, which came out of retirement for the October-November sweater knit along, which is either sweaters or cardigans, as long as it's adult-sized, etc. I pulled out my winter wheat. And this is what she looks like in the colors that are called for. AKA the colors that I am so not knitting. It's in my Schnuffletier bag. You should go check out her Etsy shop. It's kind of awesome. I pulled this out. I'm almost done the second stripe. And let me tell you, in Broken Seed Stitch, I am pretty pumped that I'm almost done the second stripe. Because I think these are the 2 long stripes, and then I get to actually do shorter stripes. So, this second stripe got a lot of love. And I'm so happy I'm almost done it. I think I have an inch more to go, and then I get to do the next garter ridge and move on to a new color, a new stripe, and I think it's stocking out, which will just make my heart sing. Aesthetically, I'm going to love this when it's done, but right now it just makes me sad. Because it was 1x1 rib, and now it's Broken Seed Stitch. I just need a break, because those 2 are really long, and these are really long rows. The bottom colorway in the rib, this one, is Run Through the Jungle. That is, of course, Batty Sock, Knitter's Nightmare. The top one is Toxic Green by Knitter's Nightmare, also Batty Sock. The garter ridges are True Love by Volmiza. Looks like this. I don't need a lot of it, so I believe that is the blend. And then I have Old Leaves and Undertow are going to be the other 2 colors, which you will see as it goes along. So I would like to have that finished by the end of November. I think that is completely doable. However, I may have to start something out of like worsted or DK. Just saying. The Garter Squish for Petrie is on an 8mm needle, which I believe is a US 10. No, 13? I don't know. It's an 8mm needle. So there's just too much on small needles. I think let's see, Wedding Shawl socks, the Mystery Knit Along, the sweater. That's 4 things. Those are all fingering weight. I just finished this. This is fingering weight. Too much friggin' fingering weight. I think I'm going to start something out of DK or Sport or something. I need something that is not fingering weight, because I'm just over it right now. It's too much. It's too much. Aside from the blanket, when Petrie will let me have it. So there's that. I am dyeing yarn. I did get more stock in, or more. There is still stuff in the shop. Don't freak out here. There is still stuff in the shop, but I'm dyeing now again because I got my restock in. The storm kind of screwed up stuff for that. So there will be an update probably either on Friday or next week. Check the Ravelry board for Knitter's Nightmare for information, or the Facebook group. It doesn't really matter. Moving into miscellaneous, I had here that I wanted to talk about the Owl in a Tree podcast. It's a newer podcast. She's about 3 episodes. I'm really enjoying her. and I just wanted to give that a shout out. And now I'm going to move into books, because apparently when I couldn't think of anything to do, I started reading books. That, and when the lights go out, it's easier to read by flashlight than it is to knit or stitch. So I read We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. If you read The Lottery, she wrote the short story The Lottery, which has of course become indicative of being taught in schools. I think everybody took that in school, I think. And she also did The Haunting of Hill House, which became a Vincent Price movie, which subsequently became a really bad horror remake. It's supposed to be suspense. It's really good. It's really gothic. I enjoyed it so much. Like, so much. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. Like, I felt bad for the characters with everything going on with them, but I just loved it. I loved the way it's written. I love the gothicness. I love the suspense of it. She clearly doesn't like society. She clearly has problems with society. This person, Shirley Jackson. She did write 2 books of nonfiction, Raising Demons and Life Among the Savages, about raising children. I think you should check it out. If you like gothic things, if you like kind of spooky things, it's very perfect for this time of the year. And it's an interesting take on life in a small town or a small society, and how things are done. Maybe it'll change your mind on how you treat people. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could see me reading it again. And the other thing I read, Animal Farm. Again, another one that probably everyone has to read in school. I managed not to read this in school. I think it's because in the AP English I was in at the time, you could choose Animal Farm or The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm always going to choose Margaret Atwood no matter what you do. So I didn't read it then. I read it, and it's a scathing satire. That's what it is. It's a scathing satire on society. And I think everyone should have to read it, because I think if you read satire, it helps you understand what's going on around you better. I find it ironic to be reading it while the election is going on. But I don't know. I read 1984 ages ago when I was young, and again for dystopian literature. So I'm familiar with Orwell and his work. He's a very good writer. He is. So those are the 2 books I've read recently. I'm currently reading a book of short stories, and short stories and we do not get along. So hopefully I will be done this soon. It's a review book, so c'est la vie. C'est la vie. I think that's everything I have to talk about. I do hope you jump in and join the chatter about knitting sweaters and cardigans for adults. October, November. Remember, for every 20 pictures, I'm going to throw something new in. I do have some handspun I've thought about putting in. If you guys think that handspun is a good prize, do tell me, and I'll throw that in there. I'm always a little wobbly when it comes to handspun, because it's like, I don't know, but if y'all think handspun's a good prize, I will put some in there. Aside from that, yeah, everything's going to be starting to be recorded on Wednesdays now. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week.